This is MoneyWise Daily. Smarter money, real-life results. Let's talk about money and kids. Because if you're a parent, or if you're thinking about becoming a parent, or even if you're just around kids, you know that money is one of those things that we don't always talk about openly, but it's one of the most important lessons we can teach our children. I remember when my son was about 5 years old, and he asked me, "Mommy, why do we have to pay for things?" That simple question stopped me in my tracks. How do I explain money to a 5-year-old in a way that makes sense? I didn't want to overwhelm him, but I also didn't want to oversimplify it to the point where it didn't matter. So I sat him down and I said, "You know how you have toys and you take care of them? Money is kind of like that. It's something we earn, and we have to take care of it so we can have the things we need and want." He looked at me, nodded, and then went back to playing with his Legos. But that moment stuck with me because it made me realize that money isn't just about numbers. It's about values, habits, and the stories we tell ourselves. Morgan Housel in The Psychology of Money talks about how our money habits are shaped by our upbringing, our experiences, and the stories we hear. And that's exactly what we're doing when we teach our kids about money. We're shaping their financial stories for the rest of their lives. Now, I'm not saying you need to turn your kids into little Warren Buffetts overnight, but there are some key lessons that, if we teach them early, can set them up for a lifetime of financial confidence and freedom. The first lesson is delayed gratification, UN. This is one of the hardest concepts for kids to grasp, but it's one of the most important. I remember a mom telling me about her daughter who wanted a new iPad. The mom said, "You can have it, but you have to save up for it." The daughter was furious. She stomped her foot and said, "But I want it now!" And the mom held firm. It took months, but eventually the daughter saved up and bought the iPad herself. And you know what? She appreciated it so much more because she had to wait for it. That's the power of delayed gratification. It's not about denying yourself things. It's about understanding that some of the best things in life are worth waiting for. And when kids learn that early, they carry that mindset into adulthood, whether it's saving for a car, a house, or even retirement. The second lesson is the difference between needs and wants. This is another tough one, especially in a world where kids are bombarded with ads telling them they need the latest toy, the coolest sneakers, or the newest video game. But if we can teach them to ask themselves, do I need this, or do I just want it? That's a game changer. I had a friend whose son was obsessed with a particular brand of sneakers. Every time they went to the mall, he'd beg for them. Finally, the dad sat him down and said, "Let's talk about this. Do you need these shoes to stay alive? No. Do you need them to go to school? No. Do you want them because they look cool? Yes." And that simple conversation helped the son understand that just because you want something doesn't mean you should have it. The third lesson is the power of earning. Kids need to understand that money doesn't just appear, it's earned. Whether it's through an allowance, a part-time job, or even doing chores around the house, they need to see the connection between work and money. I remember when I was a kid, my parents gave me an allowance, but they also made me work for it. I had to do my chores, clean my room, take out the trash, help with the dishes. And if I didn't do them, I didn't get my allowance. It wasn't about being punitive. It was about teaching me responsibility. And that lesson has stayed with me my whole life. The fourth lesson is the importance of giving. This is one that a lot of parents overlook, but it's so important. Kids need to understand that money isn't just for them, it's for others too. Whether it's donating to a charity, helping a family member in need, or even just buying a friend a small gift, teaching kids to give back is a powerful lesson. I had a client whose daughter loved shopping. She'd beg for new clothes, new toys, new everything. But one day, the mom took her to a homeless shelter and had her volunteer. The daughter saw firsthand what it was like to not have enough, and it changed her perspective completely. She started saving a portion of her allowance to donate to the shelter, and she became more mindful of her own spending. The fifth and final lesson is the value of financial independence. This is a big one. We want our kids to grow up feeling capable and confident when it comes to money. That means teaching them how to budget, how to save, how to invest, even if it's just a little bit at a time. I remember a dad who started a mock investment portfolio with his son. They'd pick stocks together, track their progress, and talk about why some investments did well and others didn't. It wasn't about making a fortune. It was about giving his son the tools to understand how money grows over time. So if you're a parent or if you're thinking about becoming one, start these conversations early. Don't wait until your kids are teenagers and already forming their money habits. Start when they're young, when their minds are like sponges, ready to absorb these lessons. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about having those little moments, like the one I had with my son when he asked me about money, that shape their financial future. As Morgan Housel says, the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want, is priceless. That's what money is all about. And if we can teach our kids that early, we're setting them up for a lifetime of financial freedom. So let's start the conversation. Let's talk about money with our kids, because the stories we tell them today will shape their financial stories for tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to MoneyWise Daily. If this sparked something in you, share it with someone who thinks about wealth the way you do.